You're almost there. The last step is to know how to make your delicious sauce for your no fear pasta. We hope that you've been inspired to try something new or even join the ACT team. Call, click, or come in to let us know what you think about ACT and share your ideas with us. Please share this video with your family and friends. Encourage them to join ACT and help make food affordable and accessible for everyone in Timmins.
So I'm just going to talk to you about how to make a very simple sauce. We have all the ingredients here. As I was saying earlier, my favorite tomatoes are the Italian San Marzano tomatoes. Now these tomatoes are an Italian plum tomato. They're quite long, but the key feature in these is that the tomatoes are packed in a very thick juice. It's almost like mud. And it cuts down your cooking time incredibly. The difference between these tomatoes and your Canadian tomatoes, which are just as good, but they're packed in water. Making sauce is a matter of evaporating the liquid till you get the consistency you want. With these San Marzano tomatoes, you can get that consistency in an hour or less. These are my go-to tomatoes. Now you can buy San Marzano tomatoes here in town. You just have to look for them. They can be Canadian San Marzano, they can be Italian San Marzano, they can be Italian plum tomato, which is better than the Canadian. But it all depends on what's on special, because we love to get them cheap. And the flavor profile you're looking for, the time you have to cook it. Simple though, simple. Olive oil in your pot, heat it up. Chop your garlic any way you like, big, small, cut them in half, doesn't matter. It all depends. If you don't like to eat the garlic, you want to just flavor your sauce, just cut the clove in half and then take it out of your sauce after. But otherwise, chop it up fine and no one's going to notice. So heat your oil, cook your garlic for 3 or 4 minutes on medium-high. And then, these should be ground already. We like to grind our tomatoes, but these are, I'll just show you. These are very, very soft, and they squeeze delightfully into a pot. So a lot of times, Mary likes her sauce smooth, okay? I don't care, because the sauce is going to essentially come out tasting the same, but it'll be a different texture. You'll have lumps of tomato. So I just squeeze it and put it into my pot. Rustic, no fear. Oil, hot, garlic, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Throw in your tomatoes. And my spices are nothing more than salt and pepper, little bit of chili pepper, and 1 or 2 bay leaves. Bay leaves are such a delightful herb. You know the difference between herbs and spices? Herbs are leaves, spices are fruit. So the chili pepper is a fruit of the pepper plant. Bay leaves is a leaf from the bay tree. Same as oregano, same as thyme, basil, those are herbs. Anyway, I digress. Hot oil, garlic, ground tomatoes, if you like them ground, throw those in, medium-high heat. And then at that time, I usually put in salt, and this is you guys. Put your salt in. Freshly cracked black pepper is always better. And a pinch or 2 of chili flakes, chilies, and a couple of bay leaves. You can't overdo the bay leaves. It's a very background note. People don't even know there's bay leaves in most food, but it really adds a nice gentle flavor in the end. The other thing I do to my sauce is, if I'm only going to use 2 cans of tomatoes, I will use a half a teaspoon of sugar, maybe a little bit more. It helps to cut the acid from the tomato, And again, no one's ever going to notice that. And then you just cook it. Now these things won't take you much more than an hour, not even, to cook at kind of a medium heat. But you got to watch it. You got to stir it often. And then you're ready to go. Our favorite sauce at home is a meat-based sauce. What I do is, and we've done this all our lives, is I get some spare ribs and I'll cook them for a long time in the oil. That's it, just oil and spare ribs, small pieces if you can, and cook them until they're almost burnt. I don't mean burnt black. I mean fully cooked. You can eat them right out of the pot. And when they're at that point, and you don't want to cook them fast, but when they're at that point, then you put your garlic, and then you put your tomatoes, and then you put your other herbs and spices. And that's a meat-based sauce. Here we go into diversion, but I take that rib meat out, like my grandmother did, clean it up from fat and bone and whatever, and then I use that meat to make a most wonderful, satisfying, homey potato soup. And it's the rib meat that's chopped up, and it's a lot of rosemary, fresh or dried, like lots. And then you fill the pot with your potatoes, and then you top it off with water. It's the cheapest soup. Did we have that? Yeah, it's the cheapest soup you could possibly make, and you're stretching, you're not wasting anything, you're saving that meat. Now the meat you can always use as a side dish to your pasta dish, or you could chop it up and throw it into your sauce. But to make this, this potato soup is the next time we get together, because there's lots of recipes that my grandmother had. But yeah, you don't waste anything. So yeah, you just simmer it. Now if you're using the Canadian tomatoes, it'll take you longer to simmer that water away, because that's what thickens. You want to evaporate the water to thicken so that your sauce actually sticks to your pasta. So these San Marzano, piece of cake, easy. Yeah, and those are my favorite. The basil, you can either, once you've got all your ingredients and spices and stuff in here, you can put some fresh basil in there. You can put it in right away if you want, or you can wait till near the end and put it at the end. But you can tear it, you can slice it, you can put it in whole. There's no rules. Sometimes I'll add some onion or shallot. I like shallots. They're just such a wonderful vegetable. But essentially, the tomato paste, if you're using these tomatoes, you don't need tomato paste. If you're using the Canadian tomatoes that are packed in water, tomato paste will probably help you reduce your cooking time a little bit. But I would put that in the beginning, not at the end. I like making them really big. It's one meatball per person.